We're finally at the big one, Final Fantasy VII. Playing this for the first time on the PlayStation 1 completely changed my world. At the time there was nothing like it and I was completely obsessed with this game. In fact, I played the disc so much, I had to get a second copy. 7 makes a gigantic leap into the realms of 3D with jaw-dropping cinematic moments. Sometimes when a game series goes through such drastic changes, there's a huge shift in design philosophy, and sometimes gameplay or storytelling gets abandoned in favour of things like visuals. Final Fantasy VII sacrifices nothing. Storytelling was still incredible, arguably even stronger than Final Fantasy VI, with the most hardcore team of badasses I've ever seen in any RPG. We've got the introduction of over-the-top limit breaks, a pretty awesome customization system with Materia, absolutely insane minigames, tons of quality optional side content, and an incredible soundtrack thanks to making use of CDs with the PlayStation. But at its core, a story about identity, a journey of self-discovery for these characters, and overcoming their pasts. This game is an experience and a half. This is my Final Fantasy series. I'm going through each main Final Fantasy game every month and ranking them against each other as I go. So we're on month 7. Here's the rankings so far, and by the end I'll decide where Final Fantasy VII fits into these rankings. Seven starts in the industrial city of Midgar. I've come to really love Midgar. We play Cloud, a mercenary hired by the eco-terrorists AVALANCHE, on a mission to bomb one of the Midgar's reactors. Yeah, story's quite a bit different to every Final Fantasy that's come before. The wealthy upper class live on the upper plates while the poor live in the slums below. And the game does a great job at showing the stark differences between the different classes of people and how cruel a city can be, with people struggling in poverty and living in literal trash below, while the upper class enjoy luxurious lifestyles and privileges. Our main villains are Shinra, an electric power company that run Midgar. At first, an electric power company sounds like some really lame villains, but this capitalist corporation has various divisions, and they've been sucking the planet dry of its energy, developing advanced robotic technology and a military, as well as experimenting with alien DNA to create super soldiers and monsters. Midgar is a powerful narrative backdrop with subtle political messages that resonate with real life, regarding corporate power, social inequality, and environmentalism. As you progress the story and Avalanche battles Shinra, it is absolutely incredible, so much happens, but you'll start to hear rumours or mentions of Sephiroth, one of the biggest villains in all of gaming. Sephiroth is the true antagonist of Final Fantasy VII. Eventually, you'll leave the city of Midgar, and it's completely mind-blowing when you first step outside this huge city. Kaboom! And get a sense of the scale of the world of Final Fantasy VII, as it dawns on you that Midgar is just a single dot on this huge world map. And it also just dawned on me, I forgot to mention, I'm trying to grow the channel, cover RPGs, and I'm also running this series where I go through each Final Fantasy every month and rank them as I go. With this still being month 7, my next video will be going into what Final Fantasy VII does better than its Rebirth remake. If you consider subscribing or liking the video, it's an amazing help. Thank you. Let's go. So with Final Fantasy VI, we lost the job system.
They took our job!
Final Fantasy VII offers something completely new, Materia. These are crystallized energy from the planet, and when assigned to a character, Materia provides support, magical or command abilities, or even the ability to call in those classic Final Fantasy summons. Sounds good but simple. Well, deceptively simple. As you progress, you get more and more materia slots on your characters, and with little links between these slots, you can combo materia together for some pretty crazy effects and bonuses, and you can customize and build characters however you want. In this playthrough, I built up Barret with all-out defense. He has tons of health and will take damage in place of others, while Vincent specializes in magic and extra powerful magic thanks to his materia combos. So while we still don't have the classic Final Fantasy job system, we can effectively recreate jobs using materia. One of my favourite materia is enemy skill. Now, enemy skill is a command materia that allows you to learn enemies' abilities akin to the power of a blue mage from previous Final Fantasies. So you have all the power of a blue mage in just one single orb of materia. It's a rush to grab every orb of materia because it's so exciting discovering new types of materia and coming up with new ways to use them on my characters. One of the most memorable new ones in Final Fantasy VII is the Knights of the Round. Hardest materia in the game to get, but once you've got it, you're treated to a lengthy summon sequence where all 13 Knights of the Round take a shot at your enemies before King Arthur comes in to finish them off. I mentioned earlier, to me, Final Fantasy VII's core theme is identity. This is a journey of identity for our cast. Every party member has to overcome their past and develop. Barret is trying to get revenge on Shinra through terrorism. Red 13 lives on the shadow of his father he thinks is a coward. Katesith is allowing all these terrible things to happen in Shinra. Why is Sid so abusive to Shera? Every single character develops, sees resolutions, and comes out stronger through the course of the story. I personally find Cloud's journey to be the strongest character story, and completing Cloud's journey and realizing his identity is probably my favourite and most emotional moment in all of Final Fantasy, and it's not talked about enough. Fingers crossed they managed to pull this off correctly in Part 3 of the remake.
Hey, I mean, you never know.
Overall, I'd compare Final Fantasy VII's storytelling to a really good book. Really strong, relatable characters, like the insecure kid who wants to be noticed by the girl, who follows his dreams of becoming a soldier like Sephiroth. As you turn the pages of this book, you don't know who's going to die, and these pages are weaved with all this foreshadowing and hints that you can't pick up on first time through. You may not realize it, but the entire game has a hidden reputation system. Lots of your actions will determine reputation levels with each character, like spending time with characters, maybe you'll say something they like or don't like, or even who you decide to talk to first. Like this moment here, that secretly changes a character's fondness of you depending upon who you talk to first. This hidden reputation system is later used in a date sequence, and who you date is determined entirely by those reputation levels. I think the best kind of decisions in game storytelling are when you don't realize you're making a decision, as opposed to, say, Telltale games where it always notifies you that a character will remember what you've done. I think one of the reasons Final Fantasy VII is so great, you've got all these really goofy, light-hearted moments, seamlessly mixed with these really serious, intense, emotional scenes. And I think something that helps maintain that balance are minigames. Minigames have been far and few between in the Final Fantasy series so far. That changes with 7. From annoying little minigame moments like having to perform CPR to extensive minigames like chocobo racing, motorbiking, snowboarding, submarine missions, or real-time strategy at Fort Condor. You'll usually have one go at a minigame through the story, and then you can do more as an optional activity. And I think back in the day on the PlayStation 1, all this kind of stuff in a single RPG was mind-blowing. You'd really come to appreciate a lot of these new experiences. And something unique to Final Fantasy VII, at least at this point in the series, is the Gold Saucer. This amusement park is full of stuff to do, mini-games to play, and rewards to earn. It is fantastic and really levels up the side content and endgame activities. There's tons of stuff to do. You can find everyone's final limit breaks and ultimate weapons. 7 has 3 endgame super bosses to beat, Ultimate, Emerald, and Ruby weapons. And that Ruby weapon in particular was my bane for a very long time. Back in the day I'd level up my characters to level 99 and come up with some good materia combos. I could beat the first 2 weapons, but that Ruby weapon was too tough. It wasn't until much later on I beat this thing. It's a real test of your mastery over the Materia System. You've really got to make full use of crazy Materia combos and the Knights of the Round. Alright, time to rank Final Fantasy VII with the others. Peak storytelling, characters and twists. The dawn of 3D. At the time, incredible cinematics and visual effects. Jaw-dropping getting to witness summon animations in 3D. Final Fantasy soundtrack really levels up with the use of CD-ROMs. Gameplay is great too, with the fantastic Materia system that really rewards discovering new materia and experimenting with different combos. Minigames, some annoying ones, but also some great ones, and love the gold saucer. Really great side content that adds to the narrative, and endgame bosses, including Ruby Weapon, that took me ages to beat. I love Final Fantasy VI, but 7 has gotta go on top. My favourite game of all time, it's the storytelling with its theme of identity and twists that I love the most. If you prefer 6, I would respect that, they're both pretty amazing. Final Fantasy VIII next month, a really interesting and fun one to talk about, but I'll also be talking a little bit more about 7. I'll be talking about 10 ways 7 is better than Rebirth. Then after that I'll be flipping it and talking about 10 ways Rebirth is better than the original. Alright, peace for now.